I was 18 years old and I drove an old Volvo SUV. At 18, that wasn't really the car I wanted to drive, nor was it in style anymore. I wanted something that fit my personality, and my dad knew I had been wanting a new car for a while, as I begged and begged for one every chance that I got. In the past, my dad had always said no to a new car because he wanted me to wait until I graduated college, but then one day, all of his thoughts changed. After my dad got tired of hearing me nag and nag about wanting a new car, he finally said we could go car shopping. We lived in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and the closest, best car dealership was about 45 minutes away, so my dad said we were going to make an entire day out of it. Needless to say, I was jumping for joy. My dad and I arrived at the dealership, and I had instantly laid eyes on a car I absolutely loved. My dad, of course, said he didn't want me to settle and to keep an open mind. I agreed with him, but my heart was just set on the first one we saw as we were pulling in. We met with a salesman, and my dad asked a plethora of questions, and we eventually headed outside to the sea of many cars. My dad immediately began questioning the salesman more about multiple cars that didn't include the one I had my eye on. I still kept an open mind, but I couldn't stop thinking about that first one. After I hinted around to my dad that I was still interested in the first car, the salesman asked if I wanted to start test driving. After hours of looking and discussing other cars I wasn't interested in, without hesitation, I said yes. I immediately asked my dad if we could test drive the one I really liked, and he agreed. The salesman, my dad, and I jumped in this beautiful car and began to drive around the dealership. I was in awe. I began to love this car even more every minute I was in it. As we drove around, my dad admired the gorgeous interior detail of it and showed his protective side by asking the salesman about the many safety options the vehicle offered. The salesman comforted my dad and gave him all the right answers. After the second lap around, I parked it back where we started, and I instantly gave my dad the look. The sweet, puppy dog look a daughter gives her dad when she really wants something. The salesman asked us both our thoughts, and simultaneously, as I said I loved it, my dad said, "I don't think this is the right car." My heart sank. I was so disappointed and thrown off guard because during the test drive, I thought my dad was sold. At that point, I wasn't in the mood to look at any more vehicles. My attitude took a complete turn, and I couldn't seem to shake my disappointment. My dad noticed the disappointment all over my face, so he offered for us to test drive another one. I didn't want to seem unappreciative of the stay, so I agreed. After the second test drive, I still wasn't sold. My heart was still set on that first car. My dad began speaking with the salesman again. The salesman was very blunt and asked my dad if we had come up with a decision, and my dad replied that we were just here to look. My disappointment dropped even lower. I was fooled. My dad had me thinking the entire day that we were going to be getting a new car, when really the whole day was just meant to look. Our communication was not clear on what this day was about, and I completely got my hopes up.